In this tutorial, I'll be showing you the beginnings and the basics of how to do 3D design using Solidworks. In our project, we're going to be making a box using our 3D CAD program, which we use Solidworks, and we're going to be making drawings that look a little bit like this to make parts that again look like this. Once we have the parts together, then we can actually assemble them and show you how to actually make the box complete. But today we're going to just try and make some of these parts, okay, and we're going to talk you through how to use that. So the first thing you need to do is fire up SolidWorks. So if I go to the start button in the corner, and if I type in SOL, okay, it should come up here, and it'll probably be the second on the list, and it'll say SolidWorks 2017. I know I've got 2016, but it's very, very similar, so I wouldn't worry. Okay, so click on SolidWorks 2017, and that should open. The first time it'll probably ask you whether you want to accept or not accept the agreement. Say accept, and then it should open up. Okay, so it should be, actually, this is one I made earlier in a Blue Peter style. So this is what we're going to have a go at making today. Okay, so when we're finished, this is what you should have as a little test piece, just to be able to practice all our kind of skills of using smart dimensions and drawings and extruding. Okay, so I'm just going to close that off. All right, so hopefully you've opened up SolidWorks, and this is what we're looking like. So into the top left corner, we're going to go File and New. And we get three options here: part, assembly, or drawing. And we're going to make a part today. So I'm going to click on part and go OK. Now, when we look at SolidWorks, obviously this is a professional package that people use in all sorts of places like Apple and Jaguar and whatever to design all sorts of new and exciting products. So it has lots and lots of kind of options. Lots of these things we'll never need to use, so don't worry, don't be kind of too scared about looking at all these different options. We won't need to use a lot of them. All right, obviously if you get better on it, you might want to try and explore later what some of the things do. Okay, so first of all we're going to do a sketch. So in the top left, we're going to click on the Sketch tab here, and then again top left again just up to there, I'm going to click Sketch again. So Sketch and then Sketch again. So Sketch here and then Sketch. Okay, now that's going to ask which plane do we want to draw it. So i.e. do we want to draw it looking down on it, from the side, or from the front. Now to start with, we're just going to do it on the plane. So on this little sort of corner here, I'm going to click there, so I'm on the top plane. So that goes orange, that's selected. Okay, and that'll turn that way. Now in the center, I'll have this kind of red L, and if I hover over the middle, you'll see it give it a little orange O kind of thing appears, and that's the origin. I always start drawing from that center point, because down here I have this option that will say user defined. If I don't start drawing from that centerpiece there, it will always be underdefined, so the computer will never fully understand what I'm trying to do, the dimensions, etc. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a rectangle. Okay, so we go to top left again, and we look across 3 in, you'll see there's an option here for a corner rectangle. So I'm just going to left click on there, and then I'm going to start drawing from the center. So I'm just going to hover over there, and now I left click and just move away so it looks a bit like a rectangle, and click. Okay, now obviously I don't need to worry about dimensions or the size or shape at all. I've just drawn something that's got 4 sides on it. Okay, so I've made it some sort of rectangle. I am in a minute going to turn that into a square, but that's okay. Alright, once I'm happy with that, I'm going to click over on the left hand side, I'm going to click on the green tick just to say I'm happy with that part there. Okay, now just to move this into the center so I can see a bit clearer what I'm doing, along here I've got various options for how I can view the product on my drawing, and I'm just going to click on this far left which says zoom to fit, and I click there and it just brings it as close as it can, fills the whole space so I can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so now I wanted to get some dimensions in there, because so far I've got a rectangle. It might be 3 meters by 3 meters, it could be 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters, or anything in between. So I'm going to go to Smart Dimensions, again top left, and click there. Alright, now there are 2 ways of doing a smart dimension. I'll try and show you both. First of all, if I hover over a line, it will go orange. Okay, when you do this, try not to pick the center of the line, because that might do something different. What you want to do is anywhere kind of in that kind of 3/4 of the way along, okay, or the quarter from the edge there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that, going to left click and just move away, just moving up a little bit so I can see the numbers clearly, and I'm going to left click. Okay, now that will bring up how much it thinks it wants to be, and you need to tell it exactly. Okay, so all I need to do is, don't push backspace, all I need to do is just type 20. Okay, I don't need to worry about the units, because in the corner here it says MFG, so it's already in millimeters. Okay, and just push enter or return. Alright, so I've now got on there, I've told the computer that this distance between here and here is going to be 20. Alright, and I'm going to do the same on this one. Now again, I could just grab that line and drag it away, or, top tip for you, sometimes it's useful just to grab, oh, I've just come off Smart Dimensions, make sure that's on. I'm just going to grab that point there, so if I just hover over it, right in the corner, that orange dot, and I'm going to go all the way down to this orange dot down here in that corner, left click, and move away. And again, I just type 20, and then enter or return. Or I can even click the green tick. Okay? Now, when you do that, it might change shape, because obviously I've told it now that this is what it's going to be. So again, I'm just going to click on that zoom to fit here, and that will put it right back in the middle for me. So it's maximum I can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so this is the first part here. You'll also hopefully notice now, in the corner here, it says fully defined. So the computer is 100% happy what I'm drawing. Okay, it knows exactly what all the measurements are, and it's happy. Okay, now I'm going to use the mouse here because I want to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to get the mouse, in the middle there's a wheel. I'm just going to use my index finger, okay, and roll it towards me, just so it kind of moves away a little bit from me. Okay, so if I move it in, I can move it out the way. Alright, it will zoom wherever you're pointed, so if you kind of go down there, or if you go up there, it'll kind of zoom into that part. Okay, so I've just zoomed in, zoomed out a little bit, so I can, because I want to draw the next piece, the little jigsaw puzzle pieces. So again, I need to draw my rectangle, so I'm going to go in the corner rectangle, and I'm going to draw, now I need to start drawing on that line. Okay, so I'm just going to hover over there till it goes orange, left click, and move the mouse, and it doesn't matter if you draw it like that, it doesn't matter if you draw it like that, because we're going to smart dimension it in a second, which will tell the computer exactly how big it's going to be. So I'm just going to, that's fine, and I'm going to do the same underneath. Okay, and I'm going to do some in the center. Okay, now you might have noticed there, I'm going a little bit quick, but when I drew this one here, you might see there's some lines going across the way, and that's just trying to help you line up things, so that's sort of that's the bottom of that line, that's right in the center of it, wherever it was, and that's the top. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about that. Maybe later it might be kind of useful to know where they are. So again, the most important thing though is I start drawing on that line, left click, and just move it approximately down the way. So I've got kind of that shape. So I've got two rectangles, one sticking up, one sticking down, one moving in, and one moving in the other way. Okay, I'm now going to smart dimension those rectangles, and I want each rectangle to be 5 by 3. Okay, so the top one, alright, I want that to be 5, so just grab that line, click, 5, enter. Okay, on your keyboard you may find it useful to put the num lock on the right hand side, it says num lock, and use the buttons over there, because there's an enter button there, it can be nice and quick. Okay, so I'm going to say that one's 5 by 3, and again this one's 5 by 3. Alright, and again I'm just going to go all the way around here, so this is the side, so I'm going to do it 3. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing it 3 mil? Well, all the material that we use, so whether it's the MDF or the laser ply or the acrylic that we use in the laser cutter, we always use 3 mil. Okay, so when we're talking about kind of the depth of material, we're always talking about 3 mil, and that's what these bits would be. These bits would be the walls as if they were sticking out. Okay, so just go around here, and this one's going to be 3, and the other one's going to be 5. Okay, now again you might have noticed, but I've not kind of specifically said it, okay, is when I'm talking about dimensions, if it's a rectangle, I only need to do the kind of the width and the height. I don't need to do the other two sides. Okay, you may, let me just do one up by on purpose wrong. Okay, so I'll say this one here to that one there. Okay, so it's 20 because obviously it's the same as the other side, identical to that one. But if I click there, it will come up with a warning, and it will say this is overdefined. Do you want to carry on doing that? Now, if that ever comes up, go cancel. Okay, it's telling the computer's telling me it knows how big that is. It doesn't need me to tell you again. Okay, so I'm just going to go cancel on there. All right. Okay, and I get a little warning there as well to say it's no longer over defined. All right, so I've now gone around each of those 4 boxes and made them 5 by 3. Okay, so it's still saying though it's underdefined. So what I need to do is think about what's missing. Now if I look here, you'll see this dimension between here and here. I've not told it how big it is. It knows that from there to there is 20, and it knows from here to here is 5. So obviously, quick bit of maths, 20 take away 5 is 15. Okay, so there's 15 shared between these 2 areas. Now obviously it's going to look much nicer if it's equidistant, so I'm going to make it half of 15, which is 7.5. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that dot there and that dot there and pull away and say 7.5, enter. Okay, now I'm going to need to do that on one on each side. Okay, so I'm just going to go around here, 7.5. This one's 7.5. Now obviously it doesn't matter if you do the top or the bottom, but obviously you only do one, otherwise you'll get that error saying this will make it over-defined. And I'm just going to do this corner here, from there to there, 7.5. Okay, now hopefully it likes that. Yes, if I look down here, I've got my gold standard, fully defined, it's happy exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, now the next part is I need to remove these extra lines, because if I try and extrude that, i.e. make that 3D, it won't know whether I'm talking about this bit, that bit, the inside or the outside. Okay, so I need to get rid of these extra bits that I don't need. So to do that, I'm going to go up here to the top, and just above where it says add-ins, there's a little thing here that looks like a pair of scissors that says trim entities. I'm going to click there, and on the left hand bar I'm going to make sure that I'm on the lowest one, which says trim to closest. And then when I'm happy with, okay, so trim to closest, make sure, so trim entities and then trim to closest. And I'm just going to click now on the bits I want to get rid of. So I want to get rid of this bit here, so I double click on there, 1, 2. I want to get rid of this bit here, 1, 2. And I want to get rid of this one here, 1, 2. And the one here, 1, 2. Okay, so it's still fully defined. I've not deleted anything I shouldn't have done, and it's now one solid piece. Okay, so it knows what I'm talking about. All right, the final step, or final couple of steps, is to extrude it. So I'm just going to go to the green tick there to say I'm happy with that trim, and I'm going to extrude this, i.e. make it 3-dimensional, because at the moment we're just looking down on it, it's 2D. Okay, so if I go exit sketch, top left here, exit sketch, okay, and go to features. Okay, now I need to make sure that I've selected sketch 1. Alright, so when you go to features, make sure it's selected sketch 1, and I'm going to go up here top corner to extruded boss base and click there. Okay, now the default is 10 millimeters. Now obviously if you can remember back, our magic number is 3, so I'm just going to type 3 and enter there. Okay, and that is now 3 millimeters, and I'm just going to say green tick there to say I'm happy with that. Okay, now the last part to make it look exactly the same as my one at the beginning is I'm going to highlight the whole thing, so just draw a little box around it. You'll see it all goes blue, and I'm going to change the appearance. Now the appearance is this little beach ball icon on the right hand side here, so I'm going to click there, and hopefully yours looks a little bit better than mine. Just give me a second. Okay, here we go. Alright, now hopefully it's opened up something that looks like, let me just get it back to how it should look. Okay, when you open up it should look like that to start with. Okay, now obviously I want this in a pale wood colour. Okay, so under here the wood is under organic, so if I scroll down and open that folder by just clicking to the left of it, and again I've got wood, so again to the left of it, and you'll see I've got all sorts of different kind of colours, different sort of shades and things of colour of wood. So I'm going to try, let's try beach, a nice pale colour. And if I look down the way, that third one there quite looks like what we use, unfinished beach. So I'm just going to double click on there. Yeah, that looks nice. And then you should see your part is done. Okay, so you've learnt hopefully how to use the sketch. Okay, hopefully you've learnt how to use smart dimensions, and you've used the trim entities, you've got fully defined, and you've had a go at doing that final extruding with an appearance. Alright, good luck.